Hello and welcome to the final video on this series in wired and wireless networks. We're going to finish off by looking at the subject of virtual networks. So hopefully we'll have lots of fun with that, and I'll try and get through this as quickly as we can. So we're going to learn about virtual networks, know how they're different from physical networks, look at the benefits, and look a little bit at the difference between a virtual LAN, a VLAN, and a VPN or a virtual private network. So let's do the basics of virtual networks. So as we know, a local area network, a LAN, can be connected wirelessly using Wi-Fi or physically using Ethernet cables, but you're still connecting the computers together in a small geographical area. A LAN can be divided into smaller subnetworks called virtual networks or VLANs, virtual local area networks, VLANs. So if you look at the diagram here, you can see that we've got one local area network, but we've subdivided it into a series of different virtual networks. So how we do this and why we do that are what we're going to look at in the next 2 or 3 minutes, I hope. So we use specialist software to create the VLAN. This makes partitions inside the LAN so that groups of devices form their own networks. Users of one virtual network can share resources with other members without these being accessible to other users of the network. So you can probably already see straight away there's going to be some advantages to this. So again, you've only got one physical network, one physical LAN. But you can then have multiple virtual networks, which are subdivisions in software of the physical local area network. A virtual network applies a logical structure to a network independently of the physical structure. So that's quite a good definition if you need one for your exams. So again, if we have a look at the diagram here, we can see we've got one switch connecting together our local area network. But what we've done is we've grouped computers together in different virtual networks. We've got one for the finance department, one for the customer service department, and one for the production department. And if you think about it, people in these different departments are going to need the network for different things. They're going to need different software. So the finance department might be using specialist accounting software like Sage, which is quite expensive. And people in maybe the customer service and the production department don't need that. People have different requirements for email, different internet access requirements. And if you set up a virtual network, these people can have different resources, different software depending on their needs. So again, they're all connected together physically as part of this same local area network, but we're subdividing it with software, and we're now acting as if these are actually different local area networks. So why are we doing this? Well, big reason, we can save money, because everybody wants to save money, especially businesses. So if you're going to create a new physical local area network, extra hardware such as cables and switches would be required. However, in a virtual network, this is all done through software, so no extra hardware is needed. Software can be installed on one virtual network, but not others, e.g. an expensive accounting program. This reduces the cost of software licenses. Virtual networks make it easy to add or remove devices as the need of an organization change. So if one department gets bigger, it's easy to add extra devices. And again, if that department needs to be reduced in size, you can make use of those computers. They can connect to other parts of the virtual local area network and be used there instead. Bandwidth is used more effectively. Virtual networks can improve the overall performance of busy networks. VLANs are intended to group together client devices that communicate with each other most frequently. So if you've watched some of the previous videos, you know bandwidth can be a problem on a network. By using virtual networks, you're grouping together the computer devices that communicate with each other most frequently, and you're reducing the overall burden of the network and saving a little bandwidth. Security. Only users with access to a virtual network can access files on that part of the network. Virtual networks allow greater control over which devices have local access to each other. So again, you're the finance department, you've got sensitive information about the finances of the business that's not accessible by people on other virtual networks that are all part of the same company. So for example, I don't know, the people who are working on the factories or the designers, the engineers, they're not going to get access to that because even though they're all part of the same local area network, they're subdivided into these different virtual networks and they're acting as if they're actually separate physical connections. So you can only access information if you've got access to that virtual network. This also means you can reduce damage from any malware that gets on your system. If the malware infects one PC, it's going to try and spread across the network, but it can only spread to computers that are connected as part of that virtual network. It can't spread to the other virtual networks because, again, they're all acting as if they're different physical connections. So this can really help limit the spread of malware on a network. And just to finish off, we're going to look at virtual private networks, which are similar but a little bit different. A VPN, virtual private network, is a virtual network that is created across a wide area network. So the previous examples, we've been looking at creating virtual networks across a LAN, a local area network, but VPNs do something similar across a wide area network. So for example, the internet. Software is used to create and share a private network that can stretch across countries or even the globe. So the idea here is you've got two devices that can be connected together across the internet. The internet, of course, is many wide area networks around the world connected. So even though you're sending and receiving information across, many different networks, because you're using VPN software, it's as if you've got a private connection directly between these computers. Nobody can eavesdrop on the information you're sending. It's all private and secure, even though it's going across many different networks. So personally, I like to use a VPN to keep myself safe, anonymous, and private when I'm online surfing the internet. A lot of other people, even big businesses, like to use VPNs because it does add quite a lot of security when you're using the internet to send and receive data. But this is a really big topic. If you're interested, there are lots of other videos on it. You just need to know a very small amount about this for the GCSE Computer Science course. Let's go through this quite quickly just to summarize. Virtual network is using software to partition a physical local area network. So you've got one physical network and you're using software to act as if you've got lots of different networks rather than just one. This saves money, it improves security, makes it easy to add or remove devices. Just pretend you didn't see that. A VPN is a virtual network that is created across a wide area network, such as the internet, rather than across a local area network. Okay, hopefully that wasn't too quick for you. That's going to be the end of this series of lessons on wired and wireless networks. Hope you learned something from all that. Please like, dislike, subscribe, unsubscribe, and I will see you guys in a future video. Good luck with all your studies.